Welcome to the task completion lesson. In this lesson, you will learn why task completion is a challenge for some individuals and different strategies to promote task completion across the individual's day. If you would like more information on any of these practices or strategies, subscribe to our online education model. Learn anywhere, anytime. Our courses are designed to help you identify and implement effective strategies for diverse learners. Resources include online modules, demonstration videos, strategy guides, implementation fidelity checklists, and downloadable resources exclusive to subscribers. Continuing Learning Units, or CLUs, are available upon completion of online courses. Why is task completion a challenge for some individuals with disabilities? Difficulty processing and comprehending information and concept of time. We know that many students with disabilities are visual learners and need concrete supports that will help increase their level of understanding. Attending to the assigned task. Some individuals with disabilities find it difficult to attend to a specific task for an extended period of time. Oftentimes, they get distracted or bored with the content. Lack of motivation. For those students not attending to the task, do they have something motivating they are working for? We all benefit from some type of reinforcement to help us complete non-preferred tasks we may have at work or home. Predicting the consequences of an action. Again, what's in it for them? They are probably thinking, if I do this, what will happen next? Will they receive access to a preferred activity or item? Or will they be given a consequence for not following teacher directives or completing the assigned task? Executive functioning deficits. Frequently referred to as off-task behavior, these are students who may lack persistence to complete tasks, or the quality of tasks completed may be poor. These students are often smart, but scattered. The strategies covered in this lesson include visual supports, task analysis, priming, chunking, choices, task box or task folder, positive reinforcement, contingency map, social narrative, and power card. As we discuss each example on the slide, think about how you could individualize the support or strategy to meet the needs of the individual you work with. If you see a red star in the upper left-hand corner of the slide, you will be able to download the examples shown in the handout section for your personal use. There are many types of visual supports, but visual schedules can be helpful to promote understanding and predictability. First then schedules are the simplest types of schedules and may be a precursor for a student to understand and use more complex schedules. Simply put, it just presents what the student needs to do now, first, and what will happen next, then. Usually the first activity is a non-preferred or less preferred activity, followed by the then, which is a more preferred item or activity. This strategy is based on the Premack principle, which is also known as the grandma rule. And a common example of that is you have to eat your veggies before you get dessert. This serves to increase motivation to complete a less preferred task because they can see that a more preferred task, activity, or item will follow. For example, in the first then shown here, the student can see that once they complete the math assignment, they will get to listen to music. Here's an example of an individual first then for an older student. Remember to individualize the student's schedule and keep it close to being age appropriate as possible. If all other students are using agendas, you can paste your student's written schedule inside the same agenda book or class folder. Look at the first, next, then schedule shown here. The student can see what he or she needs to do, for how long, and then the reinforcer they will earn once the task is completed. Activity schedules help the student sequence the steps in an activity. Activity schedules break down a task or activity into steps, help the student with pacing, and lets them see how much there is to do to be finished. Creating an activity schedule will involve completing a task analysis of the task or activity, which we will discuss next. Looking at the activity schedule on top of the student's work folder, the student can see what he or she needs to do for that class period, and then check off "All done" once each task or assignment is completed. The student can also move over the completed assignments to the "All done" side of the folder. Task analysis is the process of breaking a skill down into smaller, more manageable components when a task is too complicated to teach all at once. This strategy simplifies learning of complex tasks, enables the teacher to reduce support incrementally, and supports skill mastery and independence. An activity schedule and task analysis are similar, but a task analysis breaks down the skill further into a detailed list of smaller steps or actions. For some individuals, even simple tasks can present complex challenges. Having an understanding of all of the steps involved for a particular task can assist in identifying any steps that may need extra instruction, and will help teach a new or difficult task in a logical progression. Looking at the task analysis examples on this slide, the teacher used this strategy to break down the steps of morning meeting and the steps involved in packing up at the end of class. When thinking about using a task analysis for work completion, it could be used to break down the steps of solving a math equation, or the steps to identify the main idea of the text. Priming is exposure to information or activities before they occur, giving the student the opportunity to anticipate and prepare for what is coming. This is especially useful for tasks or activities that a student is likely to find difficult. When we prime students for what is coming and what is expected of them, either verbally or through the use of visual supports, it is much more likely that the student will be able to be successful. Some examples are review of the rules and expectations for an activity or project. Remind the student of what will be expected and if and what he will earn for complying. Prepare the student for an upcoming test. Highlight main points before teaching a lesson. You could also help them organize the lesson in advance by giving them an outline they can follow to help them sequence the content. Chunking is an accommodation where the teacher and/or service provider breaks down new content or a difficult assignment into small chunks to ensure student success. Chunking can be utilized in a variety of ways. You could give the student one problem at a time instead of a full page of math equations. You could assign one page at a time when reading a chapter book instead of the entire chapter at once. How you decide to chunk information will be based upon the needs of the student. The purpose of chunking the information for difficult assignments is to prevent the individual from feeling overwhelmed by the entire task, and instead complete the same content in more manageable parts. It's a simple strategy that can make a huge difference when it comes to work completion. Offering choices is a powerful strategy for increasing students' engagement and ability to complete non-preferred tasks. When adults find ways to share control, cooperation increases and power struggles are avoided. Providing choices will help the individual feel they are part of the decision, even though they are still working on the same content. The examples on the slide offers the student different choices of materials to use. To complete the spelling assignment, would they rather use yellow paper or purple paper? Would they rather write with a red pen or a blue pen? This strategy is so simple, but so effective. Here is an example of different choices that could be offered to complete an endangered animal project. The goal of this project is to convince or persuade the audience on why an endangered animal should be saved. As long as the student masters that goal, does it really matter how they present that information? Providing different assignment options is a Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, strategy. that ensures all students have an opportunity to learn and are engaged through that process. Task boxes are designed to help increase independence and task completion. Teachers can use task boxes to work on goals from the student's Individualized Education Plan, or IEP, or different skills or concepts they are struggling with in class. Each box should contain a task analysis to show the individual the steps to complete the task at hand. This will promote understanding and provide structure to the activity, which will increase the chances of the student completing all parts of the assigned task. This hands-on activity will promote engagement and participation while practicing a new or existing skill. A task folder or file folder activity has the same idea of a task box. Instead of having tangible items to work with, a task folder consists of laminated pictures and Velcro. You can use a task folder to address just about anything, but the purpose is to still increase independence and task completion. Looking at the task analysis on the screen, the student is able to see that the activity has a clear beginning, middle, and end. There is an end in sight. Again, by providing that predictable routine, the individual is more likely to complete the assigned task because they know what they need to do in advance. The ultimate goal of reinforcement is to help students learn new skills and maintain those skills across settings. A token economy is a system for providing positive reinforcement to a student by giving them tokens for completing tasks or behaving in desired ways. When students acquire a certain number of tokens, they can be exchanged for objects or activities that are reinforcing to them. This strategy helps students wait longer before being reinforced by requiring more work to be completed before the reinforcer is earned. Initially, the student may earn a token for each problem, then for every 2 problems, then every 3, and so on, to increase the amount of work completed before the reinforcer is earned. Again, you want to make sure the token system you use is age appropriate. A contingency map shows an individual that a positive behavior choice can earn a desired reinforcer, while a negative behavior choice may earn a consequence. A contingency map is a support tool that outlines visually the pathway of options for the student so that they can be made aware of the consequences before they make a choice. Looking at the example on the slide, the support shows the student the reinforcer he will earn if he completes the reading test, and the consequence he will be given if he doesn't complete the reading test. Social narratives are another visual strategy for helping students gain critical information about different situations they have difficulty with and learn how to respond in socially appropriate ways. They are individualized according to student needs and may include pictures or other visual cues. The social narrative example explains the importance of completing work at school. A power card is a type of social narrative that incorporates an individual's special interest to help them teach and reinforce different skills. Using the student's special interest as the focus of a power card may be less threatening, more interesting for the student, and because of this, the student may be more apt to buy into what the card is suggesting that they do instead. This power card explains to the individual how dinosaurs like to learn and the importance of completing work in class. Does the data indicate that the individual is making progress in the area of task completion across their day? Is it happening in ELA class but not math class? In order to see if the strategy you selected is working, data must be collected to help you determine next steps or troubleshoot if any problems arise before and during implementation. Remember, data drives instruction. We hope you enjoyed the information in this lesson. If you would like more information on any of these practices or strategies, subscribe to our online education model. Learn anywhere, anytime.